so many school shootings and everything else that has been going on.
Okay, again, we have the Second Amendment.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So we can't violate the Second Amendment. We can't tell the nation that they can't own guns.
Yeah.
Okay? We can't, like it's illegal. We just can't do it. But what we can do is we can regulate it to where people with mental illnesses, people that ain't quite right, as we like to say, can't own a gun. And that's what needs to happen. Because these people that go in and they shoot up places, they're not right. They need help. Not only are we failing the victims, we are failing them by not having some policy in play to help these people. These people need help. So if you're going to buy a gun, you're going to have to jump through some hoops. It doesn't mean you can't own a gun. Whatever kind of gun you want to own, it doesn't matter. But there's going to be some extensive background checks. And you better come with a clean bill of health, mental bill of health. Like it has to be required.
I think also, you heard of the guns that you have to use your fingerprint, like registered to the gun to use it?
You know what? That ain't a bad idea.
They have those now. I think implementing those in
Yeah,
the
I've got
future
some.
would be a great idea.
Yeah, I've got some. Well, actually, that is a really good idea.
Because
That's
lot
a
of
really
the
good
gun
idea.
issues have been coming from people that are taking their guns from their parents. Even if their parents legally got it and they're not keeping it, they might not be keeping it in the correct place correctly, the kids are going to use it because they have easy access to it.
Yeah, well, not only that, but there has to be some way that we can transfer that, but they have to go through the right background checks.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I know a lot of people say that you can just go to a store and buy a gun in the back. It's pretty tough now, but they just check criminal background. That's it. I know some people that used to be criminals that are some of the best people in the world, and they would never consider hurting anybody. You know, so, but there's some people that are not criminals that are not good people. And that's all going to fall back to their mental state. There has to be some, and it's going to be difficult actually setting that into plans. But listen, politicians now, they just pick certain target things to talk about. So they want to say, well, we're going to ban ARs. We're going to ban this because people get behind it, but there's no real solution. And quite frankly, it's a violation of the Second Amendment. And when I worked for the federal government, I swore an oath to the Second Amendment. When you are a politician, you swear an oath to a Second Amendment. So even if they tell you they're going to ban guns, if they do it, it has to be for a small amount of time. And if they tell you anything else, they're lying to you, which happens a lot in politics.
How about with the automatic, like AR-15s that are able, with military assault style? The ones that are able to shoot, like semi-automatics, where they're shooting like lots of rounds. And I think that they're using quick stops.
That is every gun except for bolt action guns. There's so many other than the armor lights, ARs.
Yeah.
That can do that. I mean, you guys don't really have guns around here where I come from. We have a bunch of guns, right? So, in my previous employment,
I've only shot a pistol, so yeah.
yeah. So people need to be educated on guns. It's something that should be put in school, whether you want to have guns or not. There should be some kind of gun safety. There should be. That doesn't mean you give a kid a gun. That just means you teach about it.
Course.
Yeah, like a course. There should be something, because you don't want a kid picking up a gun and accidentally shooting his friends, or playing a video game or something and saying, oh, that's cool, and they get in their mind and they go off to some parking lot to start shooting people because it's not real to them. They need to have an understanding this is real, this is deadly, and this is what it's used for, period. You know, they really should have that. We should have that in schools everywhere. I know on the right, a lot of people says everybody should have a gun and everybody should walk around armed and everything. Man, that's not an answer either. Like, it's not. Because I can promise you that a lot of those people that you see on TV that walk around and say, come take my gun and see what happens. The police come knock on the door. Oh, yes, sir. What do you need? What do you want? They're cowards. So you don't necessarily need to believe all that you see either. But to get back, you cannot violate the Second Amendment. Like, you can't violate the First Amendment, the freedom of speech. If you want to stand up and say something and hurt somebody's feelings, it's your right. If they want to say something back to you, it's your right. There's no regulations that you can put on that. But what we can do is we can create a healthy society to where the majority of us unite. We just wouldn't say bad crap about each other. And I can't do that in 4 years. All I can do is build a foundation. I can't do it in 8 years. But I can build a foundation to where our future societies will start seeing things differently.